Welcome to Daily Armour. Today I'm in Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 through 7. I will say that these are verses that are very much favorites of mine, and yet my husband had to share them with me. I was flipping through Proverbs last night. I was looking for, we've been in the valley of decision about some things, and we were trying to figure some things out. We've been running, scenarios and possibilities and, trying to figure in, well, we don't know about this and we don't know about that. And, trying to do, that process of making a proper decision, just like everybody else goes through, writing down, I'm a list maker. So I'm making lists and Todd will be like, okay, well, jot this down. Well, let's try this scenario and let's run this and, let's see where that comes out. And so we are trying our best to do what is right in the sight of the Lord. And every time that we get ready to make a decision, the decision that is coming from the Lord is wait. And we have been waiting for a long time, and as we're waiting, and I don't know about you, but as you have to wait, sometimes in the midst of your waiting, you start thinking, oh Lord, you must want me to figure this out. There must be, something I'm not seeing, something I'm not doing right, and all of these things that can go through our minds and cloud our judgment, and we're battling with this flesh, and we're like, this is what the flesh is wanting, but let's do what's smart. Let's try to make a good choice, a wise choice, all these things. And as just being, the only word I'm getting from the Lord is wait. And I'm like, Lord, are you waiting on me to figure this out? I'm getting frustrated with myself, not with the Lord, but with myself. And as I was looking for some words of wisdom from him, I thought, well, I'm going to go to Proverbs. And I'm like, where can I go? And I just was reading through, I was in Proverbs chapter 1 and I was just reading through Proverbs chapter 1, and I was just going to go through. And then Todd had made some kind of comment, and I said, well, I'm in here reading, and I'm looking for some scripture to help me. And he's like, well, go to Proverbs 3. And I was like, oh my word, why didn't I think of that? I mean, I should have automatically thought of that. Do you ever do that? You ever like, of course I should have known to go there. Of course I should have been, saying that verse over and over and over again in the midst of these, these decisions or these, circumstances or whatever the case may be. And as I flipped, because I was already in Proverbs chapter 1, and as I flipped over to Proverbs chapter 3, what I was needing to hear from the Lord was right there, in a very familiar passage. So do not discount those verses that Go look at them in his word and really read them again, because I promise you his word is alive, it's living, and they're going to be something that jumps out to you that maybe never jumped out to you before. I know when the Lord first really used Proverbs chapter 3, verse number 5, to help me. He was helping me with the move from North Carolina to Florida, and nothing about the move, the timing, the circumstances, the what we were leaving behind, the what we were having to deal with as we were here. I mean, none of it made sense. None of it. And how does it even start? Proverbs chapter 3, verse number 5 says, trust in the Lord. And that's what he just kept saying, trust me, trust me, trust me. You're supposed to go. You're supposed to be here. My word from the Lord was trust. Trust him. Trust him. And with all thine heart, with all that I was able to do, I had to fight the flesh. I had to fight, circumstances. I had to fight off, all of this that was going on that just didn't make any sense. I mean, Daddy had cancer, and my brother had just died, and just so many. This was not the right time. And Lord's saying, don't trust in all that. He was saying, trust me. He wants me to trust him. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. Lean not. Now this is what has helped me in the past. This is what verse number 5 is one of those verses I said over and over and over again. Trust the Lord with all thine heart. Lean not into thine own understanding. Trust the Lord with all thine heart. Lean not into thine own understanding. I mean, I have had to repeat that over and over and over again. I have had to tell myself that on so many occasions, yet in these set of circumstances, just because they're different, it still applies. And then he takes something in verse number 6 and really grabs hold of my heart, because it was really what I was asking for. And what I was asking for, he says he's going to do. Because the word he's given me right now is wait. Wait on the Lord. All of this about waiting on him. And lean not unto thine own understanding. Now, when you think about leaning, I think about, I'm leaning back in my chair. You ever done that and fell out of it? You ever put your hand up against a wall that you thought was secure, or you thought it was a wall, and you leaned on it and you just steady went over? I mean, I've done that many times. I'm like, oh, I thought that was secure. I didn't know that was, that I was going to knock that over, and me with it. And I'm clumsy anyway, so it happens quite often. But so I'll be like leaning on something, and putting my weight on something. I had a horse that wanted to do that. He was always leaning on me. I'm like, get off of me. You weigh too much. Get off of me. And he always wanted to lean on me. I'm like, I don't have to hold you up, but I wasn't strong enough. And so when I'm leaning on my list, when I'm looking at the pros and cons, when I'm looking at the scenarios, the Lord's saying, don't lean on that. That's my understanding. That's me trying to make that wise decision. He's like, don't lean on your wisdom. Don't lean on your understanding. And as I'm making these decisions, I'm like, Lord, what we were finding was, Lord, there's just too many unknowns. There's just too many scenarios. There's just too many things that is a possibility. We could do this, or we could do this, or we could do this, and we don't know any of them, how they're going to turn out, because we don't know the future. We don't know if we make this decision now, is 6 months later, is it going to come back and bite us? We don't know if we make this decision over here, is there something that's going to come up? We're going to have a bad hurricane season, or we're going to have, whatever, our taxes going to be, which we don't know what our taxes are going to be just yet. Might be find out this week. Are they going to be way more than we are expecting? We just don't have enough information. There's things that may change. And as we were trying to make a decision, and part of it was because we wanted to. We were wanting to go ahead and do something. And the Lord is just reminding us that, but what I've got you doing is just wait. It looked like it was time. Because the circumstances looked like it was time, looked like it was, a possibility that it was time. And the Lord's like, I know, I'm getting things lined up, but it's not time. You're still just supposed to wait. Don't look at the circumstances. Don't lean on to, your wisdom, my wisdom. If this is for me, leaning on my wisdom. And this is just something that helped me. And I hope somehow or another, if you're going through something similar, that this is something that'll help you. And as I was, looking at Proverbs chapter 3, verse number 5, and I have leaned on it, which is trusting in the Lord, leaned on it for a long time. But then last night my husband shared that scripture with me, and it was actually exactly what I needed. And then as I read verse number 5, and then went right into verse number 6, it says, in all thy ways acknowledge him. And I just noticed that word acknowledge. I had never really paid that much of attention to it before, I don't think. If I had, I had forgotten. But acknowledge him in all thy ways. Acknowledge him in all thy ways, in all my decisions, and all your decisions, and all the different scenarios that are out there. Acknowledge him. Well, what does that mean? It means find out what he thinks about it. Ask him. Acknowledge him. Realizing, and what I was acknowledging to the Lord immediately. I'm like, Lord, I acknowledge that you know everything and I don't know anything. I have all these possibilities and I don't have any clue what to choose. And everything I feel like that is a possibility, I feel like it's not right. And it's not right. When the Lord's saying wait, it's never right to go ahead and do what we want to. And we even got really close to just going ahead and doing something we wanted to. And we got to that point of where we were like ready to do it. And then we were like, I don't have to do this. The Lord's saying, wait. The Lord is saying, wait. And I challenge you to wait on the Lord and wait on a word from the Lord. Not looking at the circumstances, not looking at what it looks like on paper, not looking at what the test results say, not looking at, what this scenario or that possibility. Acknowledge and ask Him. Ask Him. Find out what He says about it. Find out what He wants to say about it, because whatever He says, because He is the one who knows all of it, I acknowledge that He knows all of it. He knows how every single decision is going to play out, and what one thing, affects another thing, and the choices I make affects the choices, that you make, and things that I do affects things that you maybe want to do. If I say, okay, well, I'm just going to do this because I feel like it's time, then somebody else says, well, I'm going to join you. And, we kind of like, make these bad decisions together. So what we do affects one another, and we have to realize that. There's consequences always to that. But when you have a word from the Lord, and as I'm waiting, I was like, Lord, how do I know how long to wait? How do I know what I'm waiting for? Then listen to the rest of this verse. In all thy ways acknowledge Him. So ask Him, and He shall what? Direct thy path. So then that direct just popped out to me like light bulbs just going off everywhere. He shall direct. He shall direct. When it's time, just wait. He's not said go yet. He's not said what to do yet. He's not said this or that. He's not made His next step available to me yet, but He is on the case. He is very aware. He sees. He hears. He knows. He is got the master plan. He is the master plan. And He shall direct. It makes me think of a movie set. And you've got all of these pieces to the puzzle, and you have one person that's directing all that. One person can say, okay, I need these backdrops, and I need these costumes, and I need these actors to do this, and I need these actors to do that. And then you might have an actor who says, well, I think the scene should go this way. And the director's saying, no, you don't realize where I'm going with this. And see, as He's directing me, He's like, you don't realize where I'm going with this. He's like, I got a plan for you. I have plans for you. As He says, I have knowledge, and my thoughts are towards you. And He's like, I know what I'm doing, and I'm up to something, and I need you just to wait. And as we got close to, some things, and then we were just like, okay, but all the Lord was telling us was to wait. And as He was telling me to wait, and I found comfort in that He shall direct. I just found so much comfort in that. And I hope you find comfort in that while we're waiting and it looks like that we need to make a decision, or it looks like that we're supposed to figure it out, acknowledge that we can't figure it out and that we can't know, because we don't know. If you don't know what tomorrow holds, you don't know if this decision is going to affect your health, or if it's going to affect your finances, or if it's going to affect your job, or if it's going to affect your family, or your children, or your grandchildren, or your neighbors, there's so many things that connect one with another. And we just don't know how it all is supposed to fit together. But acknowledge and ask Him that does. And then wait on a word from Him. And the only word I'm getting from the Lord for me in my scenario right now is wait. I don't know what word He's given you, or what word that He is going to be giving you soon. If He's got you in a season of waiting, then you understand where I'm coming from, and you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting. You're thinking, okay, Lord, don't I need to know now? Don't I need to know some things, or shouldn't I know? Sometimes I have struggles with thinking that I'm supposed to know. And then he's telling me in these verses, no, I don't want you to lean on your understanding. And then even one step further in verse number 7, be not wise in thine own eyes. Be not wise this is what I should do. That's what we were doing when we were making the list. Okay, this sounds like a smart idea. And He's saying, no, don't be wise in your own eyes. Don't be thinking this is a smart idea. Oh, we'll just go ahead and do this. Oh, we'll just go ahead and do that. This will be all right. It's okay. I don't really have to wait. This would be okay. We could go ahead and do this while we're waiting. And the Lord's like, no. Don't be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord. And that's what happened to us. We feared the Lord, and we were afraid to do what we were wanting to do because we feared the Lord. And our fear was that the Lord has something so much better in store. We just need to wait on Him, and He is worth the wait. And depart from evil. And we did. We just stopped. We were like, nope, it's done. We're over. We don't have to make a decision. It looked like we needed to make a decision, but we don't have to make a decision. And we just stopped. And, if I've got any list made at the house, I will just throw them away because I don't need them right now. The Lord is saying wait. But when it's time, He shall direct my path. Thank you for joining me. I look forward to seeing you again soon.